Hello and welcome to today's edition of The Real American. I'm Tracy Coyer. I'm your host, and today we're going to go a little bit off the beaten path. We're going to avoid politics and all things like that. Today we're going to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and it's adult daycare. We all know somebody that's in need of some services, either now or shortly in the future. So today we are joined by Celine baribeau. She is the owner and director of the Merrimack Adult Day Health Center. How are you today?
I am good. Thank you for having me, Tracy.
Well, it's a pleasure. As I said, I do have friends that use services like yours, including, he just recently had a leg amputated from diabetes, younger guy, 86, I think. Actually, he just turned 87. Super nice guy. So I spend a lot of time with him, and my mother was with me for a long time before she passed, and we certainly could have used your services because it became a 24/7 job for me.
Oh, wow.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do down there?
The story of behind Merrimack Adult Day Health Center is I've been working close to 9 years with seniors, with people with dementia, Alzheimer, brain injury, memory care. And I was working last year with Civita, which is a big corporation that still have 24 centers throughout the U.S., most in Massachusetts. So Civita last November announced that they were closing their 3 centers in New Hampshire. There's one in Merrimack, one in Hooksett, and another one in Hampstead.
Okay.
So I was working there as the social event and program director. So Civita said just start placing all the participants to other centers. After placing 19 of them, I went home one night and I said, I cannot do that anymore. I became attached to them, and they had no places to go. Other participants had to go back home, but their loved one has to go to work. So I made a huge decision, and I called them and I said, I'll buy it. So they said, you want to buy the 3 of them? And I said, no, I'll take Merrimack. So January 3rd, I became the owner of the one on Daniel Webster Highway in Merrimack.
How many clients do you service there on a regular basis?
Right now, we are at 42 participants.
Okay.
Some comes 5 days a week, other comes 3 days a week. I have some minimum we ask 2 days a week. And the capacity of the building, I can go all the way to 65 participants.
Okay.
The state requires 8 participants for 1 staff member. As we speak, I have 6 staff, and like I said, 42, never 42 on the same day. So I have plenty of room to grow and have more participants joining our center.
Now, what type of activities do you, and now also, once again, near and dear to my heart, I just lost a father-in-law to Alzheimer's, and he had been in 24/7 care up north for the better part of 3 years, and it was unfortunate when he passed. We knew it was coming, but it was during the COVID, whatever you want to call the COVID thing.
Yes.
So no one could go see him. So for the first year and a half he was there, he literally had almost no visitors. And they actually lost a few of their patients to COVID during that time. How was your experience during that period of time? I mean, you said you've been doing this for a little over 9 years.
Yes.
Did you have any rashes or outbreaks of the virus?
Oh, absolutely. Where I was working at that time, it was a residence for seniors. Some are independent and some are assisted living. So everybody were confined to their apartments.
Yep.
So what we were doing is like bring breakfast to them and fully clothed, mask, gloves.
Yep.
And the activity were kind of reduced I was still doing exercise, but the 6 feet distance was applied in even in the dining room for them to have their lunch. For months, we had them deliver their lunch in their apartment, no contacts. It was so sad. Many of them, we were able to find them a tablet. So they were doing Zoom meetings. We were doing exercise in the hallway. We were doing everything we could to cheer them up.
What are your hours of operation? I mean, I know you mentioned that you serve them lunch. Do they get there early enough for breakfast, leave late enough for supper? I mean, what kind of hours of operation do you have?
Where we are now at the Merrimack Adult Day Health Center, we open our doors at 8 a.m. And by 4 o'clock, everybody is gone.
Okay.
We have Monday through Friday. We serve breakfast around 9:15, 9:30, social and breakfast. Around 10:30, I bring everybody in another room and we do exercise. We have yellow bands, we have weights, we have balls. And then at 11, we go back to the main room and we have activity, like on Mondays, it's bingo. On Tuesdays, it's trivia. We try to do activities that target like the ones with Alzheimer, dementia, and memory care. So the activities and the crafts are directed for them, specifically for them. And then after lunch, we do another project or we do some outings. We went to the Coyer Gallery of Art. We brought them to the park, the Greeley Park, right here in Merrimack. We go to the cinema. We like to bring them out. So
Nice.
we have 3 buses and we just fill them up and just entertain them and just cheer. Yeah.
Now, how do they, and this is something that I need a personal answer to, how do you get them to the facility? Are they dropped off? Are they brought in a wheelchair car? Are they, completely ambulatory?
Yeah.
How are they?
That's a good question, Tracy. We have some participants that are brought by their loved one or their caseworker. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 3 buses. 2 of them has wheelchair access. So we go places, we have routes, we go all the way to Milford, we go Manchester, we do Merrimack, we do Nashua, and other places around. And so some of them are being brought to the center with our buses. Some are brought by their loved one. We have a few that has a special wheelchair that is way too big for me to use in one of my buses. So this participant is being transported by a special van that they bring him.
Okay. Yeah. And you mentioned that your clientele comes from a wide range of areas, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a handful.
Yeah, there is only like in the 30-mile radius, I believe there's like 10 centers, adult day health centers. There's not much. So we extend our routes. Of course, we have to be in a time that when we leave, all the bus drivers, the employees arrive at the center around 7:15. 7:30, it's chop, we have to go. So they have their routes to go to for everybody to be back at the center and then start the day with our social and our breakfast.
Very nice. Now, you mentioned you have 6 staff members. What about somebody that would need diabetic care, for example? Is that something that your facility can handle?
Yes, we do. Because we are a health center, we cannot open unless we have a nurse on site at all time.
Okay.
So we have our nurse that is there every morning. We have, I believe, 6 participants that has for their diabetes. They require some care from the nurse. The blood reading in the morning and before every meal, she does that. And yes, so we cover that.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned that you take them on activities, and I mean, it's got to be, a lot of the cinemas around are closing, aren't they?
I know. Last year we went to the one of them in Nashua, but they closed. So we were able to bring them in Manchester, and they were so accommodating. Like
Excellent.
they gave us, they even had a sign at the door, Merrimack Adult Day Health Center. And
Nice.
they let us brought our meals because we have some participants that are lactose free. We have to be careful of their diet. Some are puree because they cannot chew or the danger of choking. So they were really accommodating and they let us bring our things. And it's amazing when we introduce ourselves and say we are the compassion that we get from people.
Now, do you have any volunteers that go in and visit with the patients on a regular basis?
I have a few of my friends that sometimes would come and do a craft with them, a special craft. We also have some other volunteer that I have to screen. First of all, I need to do the background check on them, and this is from the state. So yes, I have 3 people that comes, and that also we have the live performer that comes and sing. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. They love love their all these songs. So
I remember back in the mid '90s when I was a policeman in Worcester, there was an elderly complex that was partially independent, partially assisted, and they also did very limited nursing care. And a few of the policemen and I would go over there and we'd spend a couple hours with them, when we could, unless, of course, we were beckoned to go somewhere else. So, I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
it's funny you mentioned the police officer because we have a police officer that comes from Manchester, and he comes and talk about the scam and the awareness of like people knocking at your door or calling you and oh grandpa I need some money. So it's and he also is so kind. Can I say his name? Is that okay?
If it's who I think it is, yes,
Yes,
you can.
Officer Duquette. Oh my gosh, amazing. He brought a mini pony for the seniors. A few months ago he brought his mini horse. He's coming again next Tuesday with a horse.
A full-size horse?
So this one
Oh, boy.
this one cannot come in, but the others, oh my God, it made the seniors so happy. The contact of an animal with them, they feel the heat. It's beautiful to see the interaction with them.
One of the gentlemen that's running for state representative here in Merrimack, along with me, there's 8 of us that are running on the Republican side, and I promise not to get into politics. But he is also a policeman, and he brings his personal dog and does visits out in the town that he works in. And the dog is at the station constantly, and it's not, an actual police dog, it's his personal dog. And the interaction that everybody has with him is terrific, and he's a great, great kid. If everybody wants to know his name, that's John Frechette.
Now we know.
Okay, there's my plug for today. Maybe. So, tell me about one of your better experiences. How long have you been with some of these clients, and have you seen improvement? Have you had any great success stories? Tell me something about that.
Yes, there's a lady. Her name is Mary Jo. She was at home watching TV, no interaction, no activities, and then her daughters found out about the center, and she started 2 days a week. That was like a year ago, and maybe 3 months after that, like I said, at 10:30 we have exercise. Everybody comes in the back. It doesn't matter if you are in a wheelchair. It doesn't matter if you can stand up because I do the version sitting, or there's maybe 4 that can stand. So Mary Jo started to do the weights. She increased from 1 pound to a 2-pounder, and the yellow band and the balls. And after, like I said, 4 months, she shared with her loved one, with her family, like, I have so much more energy, and I can see it.
Nice.
Because it's amazing. That makes me happy. We have a 98 years old that is doing exercise. He comes every day. There are some beautiful love story in there. very grateful to have them.
This is going to sound bizarre. How difficult is it for you personally to send them or see them leave at night?
Oh, it's knowing that I see them the day after, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that they go back to their loved one, they go back home, not into an institution.
Right.
This is where I am. My center is from home, that they are bored, that they don't do much. The family doesn't want to place them right away into a facilities, not only for the money, which it's exorbitant amount of money
Yes.
to a daycare, offers them, they know where their loved ones are, they know they're well taken care of, and they can go to work, they can have their respite. So they need that. I know how it goes at the center, and I see it in the behavior of the loved one when they pick up their family member around 3 o'clock, or they go in the bus. I feel like the loved one also had a good day. Not only they know that their father or their mom or their cousin are well taken care of, they are having attractions, they are having good food. So it's okay for me to see them leave in the afternoon, because I know they had a great day, and I made sure with my staff. My staff has been trained for dementia, Alzheimer. They have training all the time that the states, we have to follow the rules, and they know what not to say, they know what not to do, they do know certainly how to behave with them. And so we're really like on top of making sure that not only they're safe, but they're happy, and they get 100% of their day. And they sleep better at night.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Interaction is extremely important. I remember we had one lady that I dealt with years and years ago. The only way she could keep herself sharp was to start doing crossword puzzles.
Yes.
Which is actually, from what I understand, pretty common. And it would just be the daily puzzle, and what are there, 60 words or whatever. And by the time I stopped going and went into retirement, she was actually almost up to finishing a New York Times crossword puzzle, which I've never been able to do.
That's great.
But,
That's great.
She was very, very acute and aware, which is very nice. You mentioned that some of your clients actually drive themselves there.
Yes, we have a few that drive themselves because they don't want to get bored at home, and they know that everything we do, we have a monthly schedule that we are on our website, we give to the loved one, and they just want to participate with us. And those that drive themselves, most of the time they become like, sometimes they would be on the floor helping me or helping. We have a few that are nonverbal of our participants, so we learn how to deal with them and just to make sure that they are comfortable. So those are the ones that with the volunteer and with the one that drives themselves, it's we have a balance of Alzheimer, dementia. They don't all have that, but it's a beautiful family, definitely.
And everybody gets along, I hope.
Well, we speak Spanish, we speak French, and we speak English, so sometimes I'm not sure what he said, but we put some humor into that.
That's excellent. Well, it sounds like you're really enjoying what you're doing.
I do.
Funding, I mean, you're a private company, and you personally bought it. I can't endorse a business or solicit donations or anything, but I would encourage everybody to learn a little bit more about all of the adult daycare facilities, because the need is significant.
Absolutely.
It's very significant.
Absolutely. Like I said, we have much room to grow, and we welcome the public to come and visit us for a tour, see where we are, what we offer, and then we take it from there.
Excellent.
We have plenty of room.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to cover? Anything that, perhaps people may not be aware that you do, or?
My goal first to be here with you, Tracy, was to say who I am, what we do, what we can offer. And thank you very much for making it public, like your television show. It means a lot to me. My goal is to have more participants, let everyone know that a few days a week can make a big difference into the life of their loved one. Interaction is so important because they're bored at home. So
I can imagine.
What we offer is something that it's really affordable. We have insurance. We deal with all the aspects.
Okay, now you mentioned insurance. You take typical medical insurance to cover part of the cost?
Yes.
Do you deal with all the insurance companies, or are there?
Not all, but we do deal with WellSense, CFI, Medicaid. We have some veterans. We have now 5 of them, the VA. There's also New Hampshire Healthy Families, that is also a provider that compensate from a part of the fees. And we do the private pay as well.
That's interesting, because I never would have thought that insurance would have anything to do with it. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
I'm actually quite happy about that.
Good.
Now, we're getting ready to wind down. So what we're going to do is just say thank you to you. Thank you for what you're doing, and we'll make this video available for your website.
Thank you.
And with God's blessings, we're going to keep on moving forward, and you're doing God's work.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Thank you.